key essentials. And this one we're going to be doing 212, 123, which is body worn cameras. Now, some of this stuff we're going to move through relatively quickly. There are rules that you won't get wrong, and there are some other things in here that are kind of a little tricky. And so we're going to slow down during those. So let's get started. Now, 212, 123 body worn cameras. This video is going to be a little bit longer than the average key essential video because there's a lot to do in here. I didn't want to split it up. So we'll get through it, but it's probably going to be a little bit longer than you're used to. So first, let's talk about some rules when it's mandatory to record. So we see here in the statement, activation is mandatory. Activation of your body worn camera is mandatory for potential crimes in progress assignments, such as 1010s, all except missing persons, 1012s holding one, 1013s and 85s except for administrative, obviously, 1030 series, shot spotter activation, and any incident involving a weapon, you must turn your body worn camera on. 1050, which is disorderlies, 1052 disputes, 1053s with injuries, but then there's a qualifier there, and it says when highway CIS or ECT is requested. So that means in a regular 1053 where there's injuries, you're not required to activate your body worn camera. Interior patrols, you're doing building verticals, activate upon entering and keep on until exiting and ending any associated police action. You don't really need anybody's help to remember that. If you're inside a building, put it on before you go in, turn it off when you come out. You're never going to forget that, and you won't get it wrong on an exam. Interactions that become escalated and adversarial. Any use of force as described in 221. Interaction with EDPs. Interaction with a person suspected of criminal activity. Search of a person, belongings, vehicle, or home. Now, there's an exception there that says except strip search. But again, there's an exception there, but you won't forget that. You know that you can't have your body worn camera on during a strip search. So even though that's a qualified statement, it's not something that you're going to forget or worry about on an exam. Level 1, 2, or 3 stops. I just noticed there's actually a typo in there. So let me fix that. Level 1, 2, or 3 stops, except vehicle collisions, missings, past crimes, and non-EDP aideds. Car stops, vehicle checkpoints, your body worn camera has to be on during all this. Summonses, except parkers, unless you're confronted by the owner or the operator. So that's an important distinction there. Theoretically, you could have be riding a parker and the owner walks up to argue with you about the parker, then you're supposed to put your body worn camera on. Bag checks or transit ejections and transit sleeping passenger checks. All right, moving along, there's more on the mandatory list here. You must activate your body worn camera during the reading of Miranda warnings to juveniles, at demonstrations and civil disobedience if in uniform. These are the times when you can record. TARU is generally responsible for documenting protest demonstrations, political events, other official duties, activities that you judge may be beneficial to record as long as it's not prohibited. So they're giving you judgmental latitude here under that list of things where you wouldn't ordinarily record, but you feel that you should record it, even though it's not on the list, as long as it's not on the prohibited list. Once on, you keep it on until the action is over. You may turn it off at the request of a civilian if the suspect is not present and you think it's safe after considering the requester's desire for privacy or confidentiality. You should record complainant or witness statements unless prohibited. And at arrest, you keep it on the whole time until the purpose lodged at the command. Arrest and custody, immediately ask on camera if they need medical or psychiatric help, and if so, get get EMS. or a request from the member of the public to make your shield number or rank designation visible. So that is the mandatory list. I don't think any of these are tricky that you're going to get wrong. Just read it a couple times, you'll be fine, or listen to this video. So of course now let's look at the prohibited list. This is what you're not supposed to record. Admin duty, non-enforcement function, routine activities in department facilities, department meetings or training, off-duty employment, including paid detail, undercovers, interviewing of a current or potential CI, interview of a sex crime victim. Once it's known to you that the person is a sex crime victim, turn it off. In court, except for immediate lodging of a prisoner. Inside a medical facility, strip searches and briefing or tactical discussions, such as pre or post search warrants, debriefing involving ESU. So there's a quick screen clip here I took from the lesson, mandatory versus prohibited. Mandatory takes precedence over prohibited. So you're not supposed to record inside a medical facility, but if a juvenile is under arrest and they're hurt and you're reading them their juvenile Miranda, then if they're on a hospital gurney in a hospital, then you would record that, right? Their parent or guardian is present. You would record juvenile Miranda, even if it's in a hospital facility. So just keep that in mind, that mandatory takes precedence over prohibited. Let's take a look at some desk officer duties. The desk officer roles in the packet are at the beginning and then at the end. So I put them here next to each other because they're not really significant. You could study them, but it's not significant that they're separated in the packet when you study. So let's look at them all at the same time. So I put a little qualifier here at the beginning of tour and at the end of tour. So desk officer, at the beginning of the tour, account for all body-worn cameras assigned to the command at the start of tour and enter the details in the command log. No problem. Immediately investigate when notified that a body-worn camera is not functioning properly, has become damaged, or is otherwise unaccounted for, and then respond appropriately, either by accidents, department property, or loss or theft of department property as appropriate, and record discrepancies in the command log. Notify IT Bureau Service Desk and follow guidance for obtaining a replacement for a body-worn camera. Desk officer at the end of tour, desk officer or unit supervisor at end of tour, ensure that all body-worn cameras are returned to the docking station for video uploading and or recharging. Ensure arresting officer shared video with DA or special prosecutor and made the DA body-worn camera checklist. Obviously, this is all if necessary, if they made an arrest. Log in at least once a tour. So this statement goes to general desk officer duties. You can almost put this in 202, along with everything else that you have to do as a desk officer. Log in at least once a tour to identify videos from the command personnel not properly categorized, and then instruct a user. Notify CO duty captain when notified that a member made a prohibited recording. So you can remember that, but we're going to go over that again at the end of this video. So let's go over some more rules. Now we're on to UMOS, right? This is the COP. Use only if personally issued and authorized by the department to record official activity while on duty. Use of non-department device is strictly prohibited. Prior to roll call, get your body-worn camera from the docking station, turn it on, inspect it, make sure it's working, check the battery, notify desk officer if there's a malfunction, damage, otherwise unaccounted for, and put that notification in the activity log, in your activity log. Position body-worn camera to facilitate optimum recording field of view. Normally attached to outermost garment in vicinity of breast pocket on uniform shirt or duty jacket, or garment used for plain clothes, use the mounting hardware provided. So that's no problem, right? We understand that. None of those rules for the UMOS You're going to forget if you're tested on them, so it's no big deal. Again, same thing here with the patrol supervisor. Patrol supervisor or supervisor conducting roll call, give cops time prior to roll call to retrieve their assigned body-worn camera from the docking station, inspect for body-worn camera, ensure that it's properly affixed to the outermost garment, turned on and working. So these are important steps, but nothing that you're going to forget or get wrong on an exam. So now we're moving on to using the body-worn camera. So this is if you're out on patrol now, UMOS. As soon as reasonably practical, notify the public that the interaction is being recorded unless it would compromise the safety of any person involved or impede an investigation. Their consent to record is not required. This is what the patrol guide suggests. Sir or ma'am, I am wearing a body camera and this encounter is being recorded. Begin recording prior to arrival, but don't compromise proper tactics. Activate when feasible and safe after taking necessary police action to preserve life and safety. Vehicle operator may activate immediately after arrival to ensure safe operation of vehicle. So you got that? Operator activate immediately after arrival. Recorder activate prior to arrival. Back at the station house, access video management system on a LAN or department phone to classify your video based on the nature of the event. Pick a category. For video retention, from the drop-down in the following priority order. Arrest, input the arrest number beginning with the borough letter. Homicide, summons, investigative encounter, or uncategorized. For a level 3 encounter with no arrest, input stop report number. Level 2 that didn't escalate to a level 3, select race and gender of primary person, and if there was more than one person stopped. Any level of encounter, no arrest or summons, select final level of encounter, level 1. If it escalated to a level 2, select level 2, and etc. Pick a nature of event from the drop-down, EDP, domestic violence, home visit, whatever. If type of event not listed, describe it and input the ICAD number. Note in activity log and narrative of the appropriate caption of any paperwork, 61 online, TRI report, aided if incident was recorded on body-worn camera. Include ID of members recording the event. At the end of tour, insert into docking station to charge and transfer data. During the arrest process, AO or assigned officer identify all body-worn camera videos associated with the arrest. Identify, if known, any other pertinent body-worn camera video from previous incidents that can enhance the case. Suspect information, complainant, victim, witness statement, investigative value regarding probable cause, regardless of when recorded. Ensure it's properly ID'd and shared with the DA or the special prosecutor. Ensure all associated body-worn camera videos are properly classified as above. Prepare the district attorney body-worn camera checklist. Use video management system to share arrest associated videos with the DA, special prosecutor. Share any potential or actual civil litigation matter captured by body-worn camera with the legal bureau. Share any portion of an incident under investigation with the assigned detective investigator. Now, for the patrol supervisor, unit supervisor, this is all listed as one big list in the lesson plan. But what I wanted to do here was separate it, which I've done here with these green lines, because these three things are really three different things for three different incidents that the patrol supervisor has to handle. So the first one is uses of force. The second group is more or less general duties for the patrol supervisor regarding the body-worn camera. And the third group is what to do if something was recorded and it shouldn't have been, or something was not recorded when it should have been. So I put these bullets, learning bullets, into three specific groups. So let's read them one at a time. Patrol or unit supervisor, respond and assume command at police firearms discharge, level 3 and 4 force, or seriously injury DOA in police custody. Secure body-worn cameras from all MOS on the scene and document who had which camera. Firearms discharge or level 4, give the cameras to Force Investigations Division upon their arrival. Level 3, confer with IAB and determine whether to secure cameras pending their response. So for some general duties regarding body-worn cameras, that's for level 3 or 4 force, seriously injured DOA in custody. The next set of rules are for general rules for the patrol supervisor or unit supervisor regarding body-worn cameras. Instruct members to deactivate body-worn camera if enforcement action has terminated, the event has been stabilized, and interaction with the subjects of the police activity has concluded. Visit members with body-worn cameras while on assignment and ensure they're recording events and activities that they're required to. Periodically review video as appropriate to provide positive feedback and address any performance or tactical deficiencies observed. So those are more or less general rules for the patrol supervisor. The next set of guidelines here at the bottom are for when the cop recorded something that he shouldn't have or didn't record something that he or she should have. So investigate when notified that a member failed to record all or part of an encounter as mandated. Determine the propriety of the circumstances. What they're saying here is whether or not there was subterfuge. Did they not record it on purpose, or was it a mistake? And notify desk officer to document the results in the command log. Ensure any resulting failure to record is documented in the uniform member's activity log. Do a 49 to the chief of department through channels, detailing your investigation, findings, and action taken. Additional copies to the Deputy Commissioner of Technology and the CO of Risk Management Bureau. Notify desk officer. So that's done. That part's done. This is the opposing point when they did record something that they shouldn't have. Notify desk officer when notified that a member made a prohibited recording. Desk officer will notify the CO. So briefly for a moment, I kind of like this chart that John put it in the book, and it's just put side by side when you fail to record a mandatory incident, or you recorded a prohibited, you recorded when it was prohibited. You'll see here that the cop notifies the patrol supervisor and puts it in their activity log that they failed to record a mandatory incident. The patrol supervisor investigates, notifies the desk, and the desk documents it in the command log. Now, the patrol supervisor ensure that any resulting failure to record is documented in the uniform member's activity log, and they also do a 49. That 49 through channels to the chief of department. Now, if they recorded something they shouldn't have, cop notifies the patrol supervisor and puts it in their own activity log. Patrol supervisor notifies the desk notifies the CO duty captain. Now, just for the purposes of learning here, John puts it in the book here, John Monahan puts it in the book that the commanding officer's duties, they write that 49, but you don't really have to know that. So when you're studying, right, just notice here that you don't really have to know this. So what happens here? When you didn't record something that you should have, the cop notifies the patrol supervisor, puts it in his activity log. Patrol supervisor investigates, notifies the desk puts it in the command log. Now, the patrol supervisor has to write this big 49 to the chief of department through channels. Now, if the cop records something that he shouldn't have, he left the body-worn camera on when he's in the hospital by accident. Um, he went to the bathroom in the station house, and it's embarrassing, but he recorded while he's in the bathroom. Now the camera only picked up the wall in front of him, but you can hear the cop urinating on camera. This sounds funny. I'm glad it sounds funny, but it's really no big deal. Theoretically, it could happen. So you're looking at the tiles in the men's room, but you hear the cop urinating. It's no problem. It was a mistake. Or they recorded in a hospital or something, so they made a prohibited recording. No big deal. The cop notifies the patrol supervisor, puts in his activity log. Patrol supervisor notifies the desk. The desk notifies the duty captain. That's it. There's no specific mention of a command log entry here. And what the commanding officer does after that is not important for you to study. So the cop makes a recording that he shouldn't have. What do? Cop puts in his activity log, notifies the patrol supervisor notifies the desk notifies the duty captain, CO duty captain. Hey, the cop made a mistake here, recorded something he shouldn't have. It seems to be much more important when you don't record something that you were supposed to. Then the patrol supervisor does the 49 right there. So you didn't record something you were supposed to, patrol supervisor does the 49. You did record something that you weren't supposed to, there's no 49. Now, we can argue all day long. Of course, there is a 49, and the commanding officer does it, but you're not studying for captain. So when you don't record something that you're supposed to, the patrol supervisor does a 49. When you do record something that you're not supposed to, there is no 49. Ostensibly, there is no 49 for your purposes. Now, I would really love to skip the additional data here, but there's a lot of stuff in the additional data. Fortunately for you, none of it is difficult to learn, and there's only one real thing to pull out of here. So let's just read it quickly so you can hear it on the video if you're in the car. Additional data. Don't use a still shot of the video for a show up, but you may use a printed out still shot for a photo array. Decline witness or victim's request to view video recording. Just refer them to the prosecutor. Cover the lens when you're putting an access code in when you're trying to get into a department facility. You know, body-worn camera, software, all the video captured, all the content, everything on there is department property. So don't share it with anyone otherwise unless authorized by the PC. Unless it is for official purposes. You're sharing a video for another MOS for an arrest. You don't need to study that. You know that. Don't edit or delete the video. You already know that. So here's something that's worth learning and remembering for the exam. Video automatically deleted after 18 months. That changed in June of 2020. It used to say 1 year. So I say that it's worthwhile to know that without the CO putting a request in to archive it longer, the general time now that it's recorded is 18 months. I'm sorry, that it's archived. The general time that a video is archived is 18 months. It used to be a year. In June of 2020, they changed it to 18 months. That's worth remembering. If the CO wants it recorded longer, retain longer, he can retain it. They just write a 49. Everything on there is Rosario and it's FOIL information. The Legal Bureau can get it through a subpoena, through the Legal Bureau Subpoena Litigation Unit. To have body-worn camera footage downloaded to a DVD, just email the Legal Bureau's body-worn camera unit with the pertinent information, and then they'll burn it for you on a DVD. Okay, so all this additional data is great. The only thing that I think in here is testable is that it saves an archive for 18 months, which used to be a year. Since we did so much about the body-worn camera, let's just look at this guy or girl, the training sergeant. Only one thing to remember out of the training sergeant's duties, but let's read them anyway. Periodically review video as appropriate to provide positive feedback and address any performance or tactical deficiencies observed. This statement is literally verbatim, the same as the patrol supervisor. Assess compliance with the procedure and take necessary remedial action to correct deficiencies. So here's the one learning point out of training sergeant. Do inspection report to compliance division's body-worn camera unit by the 20th of the month for the previous month that you reviewed videos. that's worth remembering. Ensure the newly assigned personnel are trained and get equipped with a body-worn camera. Notify ITB Strategic Technology Division if you need a new body-worn camera. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be my time. This video ran about 25 minutes, a little bit longer than the regular Key Essential videos, but there's a lot in body-worn camera. I want to make sure we got to it all. Good luck studying. I'll see you in the classes.